and we'll get to it. But happy Tuesday. It's like 5:30 in the morning. Yeah, 5:40. Didn't necessarily have a perfect start. We tried something cool last night, which is I used to do block scheduling, and I normally fit it in the middle of the morning, and then eventually I just started kind of winging it during the day. And yesterday I just felt like my brain was super cluttered with all the to-dos and wrestling with what's most important and what am I going to remember tomorrow. And I was just feeling a little spun up. So I was like, you know what? Screw it. It's 10 o'clock, 10:30 at night as we played a game of Catan. I was like, let me grab my tablet. Let me open up my block schedule and just kind of brain dump what the tomorrow looks like and rough it. And super helpful because I felt like I was able to wake up with a little bit more clarity about what needed to be done, what didn't need to be done. Sometimes that's the most important thing. It's just figuring out what doesn't need to happen, what can wait. At risk. That's the tricky part. Some of the choices we're making are just super risky. But I guess that's the perk of entrepreneurship and going all in on your life, moving internationally on your own dime. Certain things become messy and out of order. That's okay. But I hope you're doing well. I'm a little sniffly today too. Alright. So before we jump in our warm-up, I have this handy dandy tablet. Oh. So I'm going to go and today we're starting a new block of lifts where I do a different workout on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. So let me copy and paste that over for a second. It'll take me just a minute. So I got to go back in time. And we're looking for Moose Lift 3, which will be far back here. It's 2A, 2C, 1A. So we have 3A, 3B, 3C, perfect. Then we'll have to get up to 4A, 4B, 4C. Alright, so we're going to duplicate this. We're going to move it back to where we were. So I write everything down when I lift because it helps me always compete with myself and get better. It also helps with like a lot of comparison. I could just look at like where was my body at this point in time, where am I today, and then how do I meet in the middle of that? Because it's not always about lifting more and it being like a linear progression. There's hills and valleys as you improve, but it gives me like a feel. I'm like, oh, where was I a couple months ago? Where am I now? How much do I push? So if I don't write it down, I'm in the dark about that. And then you typically underlift or you ego lift. So either way, it's bad. So today's going to be day 6. I'm tracking 1 second. Day 6. Oh, crap. Come on, pencil. This is day 621 of our fitness journey, which is pretty cool. Alright, so we need a demotivation of the day. Something to be snarky and sarcastic and push us forward. So it's like we got goblet squats, eccentric single leg squats, bent over rows, single arm rows, strict press, floor W's. So I'll just do dot, dot, dot. I always like to start with an ellipses because that's like my tread. So our demotivation will be like, well, I kind of like this. But I'd still rather not. So for me, I don't start my workouts with affirmations. I start them with demotivations that are brutally honest. And for me, it's like, well, I kind of like this. but I'd still rather not. I'd rather do something else with my time. So, we're going to warm up. We start with some groundwork to open up the hips and all that lovely stuff. So, I'm going to put you, you're going to be rested up on this bunny. Lucky you. Ta-da. I just sit here while the workout do itself. Alright, let's get to work. So, we're going to do some hip opening stuff. Kind of calibrate all that. This guy, we did 6 miles yesterday. Still sore from it, which is good. But we're going to get our body laid out. So, we want this arm at 45. We want our hips at 90 and 90. And we're going to pivot with our heels touching. And do clam. We'll do 10 of these. Ooh, this is super sore today. Oh no. Not a good start. Alright. Alright, so that's 10. Now we're going to lift our heel off so we're slightly parallel. Drop your foot to tap and go over center. So you want to keep everything rotating about the knee. There's a little movement, but it does enough. But friends, I hope you're having a good week. Things are crazy in my world, so we'll see what comes next. Hopefully get some job apps in today and other stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, now kick your leg out straight. Oh, slide it in. Right. Tuck it in. Tuck it in. Alright. Squeeze on this thing. My hips are super sore today, I can feel it. So like the fact that I gotta do goblet squats, I'm like, ugh. Gross. So we're just squeezing this thing. Flexing the outside of our butt. And that's about 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, I get to get the other side. I got a pretty decent night's sleep, but I'm a little gassed today. I don't necessarily start get a day off like totally ready, so this is me like procrastinating, which I don't have time for. It's a busy day. I got a lot locked in. I'm gonna see if I can keep the right goals in front of me while still balancing being a dad. I'm really hoping to hear back on one job. Yo, D-Race, and this stretch is called the rent is due. Bro. This stretch is called I got 2 compressed discs in my lower back, and I gotta get things calibrated so that I could lift and move safely, so eventually I could run and play with my kids when they get older. But 10 out of 10 for wit, friend. Alright, let's do it. Why don't you drop on the floor and try it with me and see if your rent's due? Alright. You might feel better afterwards. You know, like, fitness doesn't always look flattering. Like, I'm a big guy, and I live stream my workouts just for personal accountability to keep showing up and doing it. But there are plenty of movements where I'm like, that doesn't look that great. but my body needs this, so I'm gonna do it anyway. Basically, like any glute lift is always somewhat compromising. All right, let's get on our butt. So you want your knees at 90, you want your hips at 90, arm at 45. Oh no, come back. Come back. Hand on hip. You're going to put your knees and your heels together. You're going to pivot on your heels touching, so you're going to clam. Feel it right on the back. 1, because the rents do. 2, 3. So do you have some kind of relation with your landlord then? I'm trying to follow this. This tangent. It's very interesting. My landlord's my grandma, so this is like a compromised statement right now. Alright, so we're going to pick our foot up parallel and we're going to tap it. Do 10 of those. So you're trying to keep your butt exactly where it is. And you want everything to twist about the knee. And again, you should light it up right there. So I've been doing this thing for like 600 plus days. This warm-up is fantastic. Alright, now you're going to kick your leg actually higher. Yeah, and then do it again. Forgot about this one. This one burns. Look, welcome, friend. This is Dad Bod, where I make fitness accessible to folks who are heavier set, have pre-existing health conditions, or prior sports injuries. I've had a lot of issues with my spine. I've gone through years of physical therapy. I was getting epidural shots in my back every other month. And I've been able to regress all that pain and run half marathons, play with my kids because I built the right strength and form. Lost a little bit of weight. Not a ton, but enough. Alright, we got 5 more. Dude, I got a podcast tomorrow. That's going to be cool. It's with the Chief Commercial Officer of CMR, which is a robotic surgical company. Well, ex-Chief Commercial Officer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and yeah, I get 10. Alright. Oh, I think I skipped one. 1, yep, skipped that one. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Alright. Come here, friend. Oh, wow, you're still here. I got a like? This is crazy! And this pose is called the electric bill is due. Not to be mistaken by the internet is due pose, which is different because you lift your right leg repeatedly. Alright. Next we got inchworms. Actually, I'll keep you down here. This is a good spot. You can do this the whole workout if you want. There's lots of bills. I got 4 kids to feed, so let me know what that stretch looks like. So we're gonna do inchworms. Tight. So we want to do a deadlift, so we're not squatting. We're kicking our hips back. And we're gonna do 3 of those. Shoulders are super grumpy today. Oops. Let me stop that for a second. Alright, so drive your hips back, and up. Thrust it through. Oh my god. This is going to be a great workout. I can just feel it. I don't want to be here. Alright, so we're going to walk out. Do a push-up. And then do another push-up. Downward dog. Pedal your feet. That's 1. Very tight today, 2. And 3. Push them both down. Enjoy that for a minute. Then we're going to come forward. Bring one leg up. Twist. Come down. Switch. Alright, come down. And walk it back. Let's do one more. And we'll see what Bill is due next. Alright, deadlift. It's very sore. One. Yeah, the 6 miler we ran yesterday was pretty solid. Or no, we just did 5. We only did 5 miles yesterday. Alright, walk it out, walk it out. Push it. It is a Fuzal Harum. Keep up the discipline. You have a lot of potential. Thank you, friend. So I'm working at it. We're on day 621 of my fitness journey. Since then, I've run 4 half marathons, 3 in Japan, 1 in Chicago. Lost 30 pounds. Built up strength. Reduced back pain tremendously. So we're getting there. Still can't do a pistol squat yet. Although, I think I can get a single pull-up, which is pretty cool. Making progress little by little. Alright, next we got forward lunges. We are definitely like lethargic. Like it's taking willpower to hop into each new thing. Everything's like a grind. Which is fine. Not everything's gonna come easy, so I'm gonna step back. Gotta stand up straight. Your shoulders rolled back. Foot tucked under us. Tuck our tailbone in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Stay down. Go past the knee. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. Oh, the pulse is brutal. I see your comment, friend. Let me do this other side and I'll check it. Okay. This is my injured knee from high school. 33 now. Tuck our tailbone in. You know, if I knew the problems that would follow me my whole life from football in high school, maybe it wasn't worth it. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 over the knee. Oh, very sore. Very sore on that one. Come here. Morning, friends. Make sure you do weight training and functional for good endurance and stamina. Yeah, that's what today is. Today we lift. So that should be cool. Mondays we long run. Wednesdays we recovery run. Fridays we do interval training. Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays we lift. And Sunday we do Beat Saber. And foam rolling. Alright, we got laterals. I can feel summer's coming tonight. I forgot to turn off my alarms. One, 2, try to go deeper each time. 2, warming it up. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10. I'll go back in. Cool, keep it up. Thanks, man. Working on it. Alright, we got our Oji-san stretch. Oji-san just means grandpa in Japanese. I picked this up and modified it from my dad. Because in the morning he'd be all groggy and have to like do his groundwork. So now I do it. But it's just going to be some shoulder openers and stuff. And then we're almost ready to lift, which would be cool. So you want to get on the ground again. You want your knees at 90, your hips at 90, your arm at 90. You're gonna pancake your hands together. Slide your top hand past the bottom. Open up. And then come back in. Now, you could just sit into this, but I like to do it dynamic as a warm-up. So that'll be 1, 2. Each time go a little deeper. 3. Keep everything kind of activated and on. 4. 5. Oh my god. I'm so tired. 7. 8. 9. And 10. Alright. Bottom arm goes up on knee. Top arm starts out here and we windmill it 10 times. Going backwards like a backstroke. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. And then you go the other way. 1. You could take a nap during this part. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. Alright. Now we're going to switch it to the other side now. Good work, friends. So tired. Alright, hand over hand. Open up. Oh, that one's tighter. Hand on knee, rotate it. 1, 2, 8, 4, 5, 6, Excellent. All right, we have a little bit of work on the wall. Come with me. Oh man, we're so tired. Our eyes are watering. I got like 6 hours. I don't know what's up. 6 hours is pretty good for me with 4 kids. I should be skipping. All right, so we're gonna put our back against the wall here. Nice and tight. Arms up. Tickle. 1, 2. 4, 5. Sleepy stream. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Flip it over. Nice and easy. 1. Oh, see, this burns. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Woo! Suffering right there. Alright, and then we got wrist breakers, and we're good. Man, we have a nice turnout today on this live. This is fun. Welcome, friends. My name's Joe. I'm just trying to take care of myself, and we're going to lift some weights. Very simple. How are you? Just hanging out, streaming on my phone. It is the simplest live you could possibly imagine compared to some of the crazy tech I used to do. Alright. Rotate over the hands. So we're kind of moving past our hands, which causes us to feel a burn down the front of our arm and the top of our hand. For the first one, so we do 3 to 4 of these, depending on what feels right. Can you do push-ups? I can totally do push-ups. How many push-ups do you want me to do? I don't know if they're on my list, but I could tax them on, just for bonus, because you're here. And it's good for me. That's 1. This is always a nice pull in my back. 15, let's get it. Or we'll do that as to warm up. You want military or standard? Or wide? Or pike press? It's your buffet of push-ups for hanging out, friend. Thanks for making me better. But then I'll probably have to stay to script because I don't have a lot of time. 1. It'd be cool to eventually do those live streams where you're like live for multiple hours and people just like keep making you do crap. Knuckles? What? Knuckles? Why would you do that? I've never done a knuckle push-up. Okay. Is this good for me? I'm like feeling the load. Like, how's this gonna work? Alright, well this one is dedicated to Fazal, I think. I'm gonna load up on it. If I don't like it, I'm gonna go back to normal hands. Because I'm too old to play around with crap like this. Or try it with a wristband on. That's 8. Knees. Ow! My fingers are stabbing into my hand right there. Oh God! Thanks for that. I think that's something I've never done before. Cool. All right. So we got goblet squat. Keep it up. You have a lot of potential. Thank you, friend. You as well. What do you do for your fitness journey? What's your split? We got goblet squats. Last time we did it with 50s. 12 reps, 3 sets. Good God, we're not going to do that many today. What time is it? Yeah, it's 6:10. We're going to do 1 or 2 sets. All right. So let's grab a 50. Thank you for the encouragement. The goblet squat, you're going to hold it up. You're just going to squat down. Y'all are too tall. Put you down here. Lean on this cute little rabbit. Maybe not. Maybe you don't fit. Lean on the screen. Maybe that'll work. Is that better or worse? That's worse. Just put you over here. You don't have to see my legs. Alright. So, I'm going to grab fitty. Hold it like this. Not excited about this at all. And Goblet, it's like a sumo but less. Okay. Holding my core and drop. Oh, I haven't done squats in a long time. 1, 2, 3. 6. 7. Whew. That was dreadful. That was 8. By the way, the last time I did this workout was like 200 days ago, and we moved internationally from Japan to Chicago. So I looked at this and I was like, this was when I was in like killer mode. I'm not lifting like that. So last time we did 12 reps, 3 sets. Today we're gonna do 8 reps, 2 sets. At least on that lift. 8 reps, 1 set. And I'll say, just give myself a note that that was tough, because I might need to adjust the weight or the reps to get into it with good form. Nothing was too crunchy, but it didn't necessarily feel pleasurable. Luckily we don't chase pleasure, at least in the morning. Do. If we look at it long enough, will it lift itself? Ooh, that's a really good t-shirt idea. Just show some eyes looking down at the weight. Like, if I look at it long enough, will it lift itself? I love that. Yo, what's up? How's it going, Gabriel? We're lifting. We're working out. It's like 6:10 in the morning. We got 4 kids and we're tired and sore and not fully motivated. American walls are cardboard? That's very true. Technically not cardboard. It's made out of a gypsum sheetrock. So it's like really fine, light concrete. There's a lot of air in there. Okay, so that's why when like a tornado comes, it just like rips through the walls. We don't build our house out of stone. Do full range ab crunches as well as combined with knuckle push-ups. That sounds terrible. Why would you do that? Full range ab crunches. Ugh. All right, we're gonna do another round of these squatty things, because our sheet says it's good for us. So get this nice grip. Get our breathing. Drop. 1. I'm trying to do full range of motion. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. Woo. Oh, that was right on the line. Yeah. I'm gonna be sore later from that. I try to bring Sally ups, but she's better than me. What? I'm so confused. Okay. We have eccentric leg squat. The heck does that mean? I'm over here like I'm too tired to think about this workout. Assisted leg squat. So we're gonna do single leg, because I think this is single. Yeah, single leg squat. And we're just gonna find our balance and drop down. Well, I am an engineer. How do you know? You just guessed it? Just by the look of me? Oh, that one's an engineer. I'm going to bring you over here. Give you a nice, fun side view. You're a first-year student. Yo, you need to come hang out in my community, man. I have a community that helps. It's called the Big Brain Club. It's got like folks with left brains, which are the engineers and global leaders. Right brains are the creatives and community leaders. And then whole brains are the parents and entrepreneurs. And then I provide everyone an assessment where they could baseline their journey across 3 different dimensions. Like how undefined it is. They have a lot of unknown unknowns in their life. How disorienting is it? Do they know what their next best step looks like in life? And then how isolating it is. Do they have people around them that have seen the same level of success that they aspire to? But if you're like a first-year college student, dude, I built the community I wish I had. Because you're just surrounded by people in the same exact zone as you in college. It's very like siloing, and you don't really understand what industry and stuff is. So we have actual practicing engineers and other folks. All right, so we're gonna do a single leg squat to a level of depth that feels reasonable, is what I'll say. And the goal is just to load up one leg. I have a lot of instability challenges, so this is gonna be really hard and suck. But yeah, we'll see how it goes, I guess. So I'm gonna load up on one leg, turn my core on like I'm getting punched in the gut. Arms overhead, kick the other leg up forward, and we're just gonna go, and that's about what we have. 1. Ah, turn into a stop. Turn it back on. Oh my god. 2. 3. Doesn't take a lot. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. Flip it. By the way, there's a link in the description if you want to join that group. It's free. 1. I have a paid group as well with like weekly office hour calls. But the free ones should be plenty valuable. Get you moving. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. Oh god. What do we got, friend? Yeah, I'd like to be part of it. Gonna watch the stream while working for exams. Nice! First year engineering student, what's your major? Are you a mechie? Mechies are the best. I'm gonna write down my reps really quick. I was a mechanical engineer. Then I did an internship at Johnson & Johnson in not surgical robotics. At that point, it was just like laparoscopic surgery, where you put holes in people's body, cut stuff out, and pull it out. And I recognized they were moving towards robotics, so then I focused on mechatronics. And then I ended up working in surgical robotics for 8 years on a wide range of technologies. And I relocated to Japan and directed front-end innovation. So I had a team of engineers developing new tech on behalf of Japanese clinicians. All right, single leg squat, 8 reps, X1, freestanding. Can't choose a major until 2nd year. I'm gonna pick materials. Interesting. That should be fun. What campus are you on? Like what college? My groomsman was a material scientist. Mech engineers are the goats. We just know how to play with physics. We know how to make stuff that moves. Everybody likes stuff that moves, so there's always a need somewhere for something that moves. It's really that simple. 1. 2. Oop, needed it like that one. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. But congrats on getting on the path, dude. It's awesome. It's hard. 2. 3. 4. Good work. Thank you. I'm trying. 5. 6. A little bit of a struggle bus today, but we're getting it. You know, and each lift isn't going to be perfect. You just got to show up with what you got for the day. KU Leuven, Belgium. Cool. I've never been to Belgium. Sounds awesome. What's up, Nemo? All right. we're working out and talking about science, I guess. Anyone have any fun science questions of the day? Yeah, bent over rows. And crank them back. Work on that back. Got to build some wings. Nothing much, thanks. Well, that's good. Cool talking to you. Let's see. Oh, that was a little bit sarcastic. All right, let's do. I'll let chat pick 30 or 40, and then I'll adjust the reps. Oh yeah, I have a question. I'd love to hear your question. I'd also love to hear 30 or 40. You can choose my suffering. It'll be great. I'm so tired. How do you think everything came to be? Oh, like everything? It's a fun space, for sure. I mean, I'm a scientist, I'm an engineer. At the same time, I come from like a faith-based context. There's a whole bunch, and I studied theology. Like I got a master's in global leadership. How did I think everything came to be? I would first start with Shane saying there's different reads on it. You have the whole Big Bang theory through a secular lens, and then like the universe started expanding, and then everything started evolving. You have the purist creation model from, well, I'll say a Christian, Judeo-Christian context, in which in 6 days, like everything that is was made. You have the gradual evolution in which like the system was kicked off or started by God, but 6 days isn't 6 literal days. Again, I'm going through Judeo-Christian read of this. There's lots of different faith contexts with lots of different origins and lack thereof. Just the car payment is due post. It's nice to know you're still here. Yeah, I could teach you that one. We're going to do that right now. It's tricky. One of the things that I was always curious about, like with the theories of thermodynamics, everything's approaching entropy or randomness, right? So everything is going to like the lowest energy state. So think about like you rub your hands together, right? I'm putting energy into this system through things that I've eaten, and then there's all this heat forming behind my hands, and then that heat dissipates out into nothingness. And if you look at the universe, like they measure it, like it keeps expanding into nothingness. If those scientific principles are true, then that rule would have to be broken to pull everything together to create a big bang moment. Whether that happened because physics decided never mind, or a cosmetic, what the heck am I trying to say? Some cosmic force pulled it together, or God, which is where my context is. Like something had to bring it together to create the space to expand. So that's where a lot of people, that's where I see a lot of purist scientific thinking not work. Is like, well, what the heck pulled it together to then bang it out? And the argument is like, oh, we'll just keep studying until we figure it out. It's like, it breaks all your rules. So help me understand the rules, and then we can figure it out. All right, so nobody decided 30 or 40, so I'm going to go for 30s, and we'll just do max reps, and if it's light, then I'll do 40-second set. Good job. All right. Concerning pure creation or gradual creation, I'm more mixed on that. Do you think God was the origin of the Big Bang Theory? Like, did God come up with that theory? Oh, let me lift and think about that. Give me like 12 seconds, all right? I'll turn sideways. For people at home, this is the car payments due post. So you want to drive your butt back. Bend your knees a little bit, but we're not squatting. We're driving it back. Strong back, arms forward. Pull, 2, 3, and up. 2, 3, and up. Feels like a little rocket launcher. Up. I think we're at 5. You should squeeze in the middle of your back. 6. Woo. Hey, there's a lot crunching that. Yuck. Alright. That one felt like 33 years old. Oh, good question, friend. I'm like over here still. What do I believe? It's good. And the thing is, on this community, like I try to make conversations accessible to folks from any faith-based contexts or lack thereof, different spiritualities. Like, for me, like I've been to places like the Creation Museum and stuff, which is interesting. Um, the full conservative, contemporary, literal read of those scriptures, I have a hard time with. Um, I see it more as a system was kicked off. Let's see. Do you think God was the origin of the big brain? As in, do you think that when he spoke the world into existence, the Big Bang occurred? Big Bang occurred. Yeah, I think that would be my read of it. And like, we don't know what happened before the bang, right? I mean, from again a Christian theological perspective, there is the idea that there's still oneness between the Holy Spirit, God the Father, and the Son. We're all like doing their whole triune God thing up there, and then they're like, boom, and they made it. Origin before that, we don't know. And then like, where did God start? Like all these questions. Like, I'm just trying to pay rent. We gotta do the rents due pose next for D. All right. So let's do another round of 30s because that was like on the edge of bad form. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. Not thrilled about this. But I like the results of doing rows. I'm gonna kick that butt back. One. It's also one of those questions where I still, and some Christians will hate this answer. Sometimes I question if it really matters, which is a huge issue. Ismail, God is one. Keep on, bro. I hope you'll get more success. Thank you, dude. I'm doing the best I can. Nice to have you here. Whew, we're gassed. We're halfway done. Well, let me check my time and see if we have to increase our speed. And we got 30 minutes. Kent Hoverand has some really strong arguments for all that stuff. Highly recommend go look him up. Okay, interesting. What's his read? If you had to summarize it in a mini paragraph or so, what's his take? And like, from what context is he speaking? Whether it's scientific or atheist or faith-based. Right, single arm dumbbell. What the frick? We just did bent over double row. It's like, now go ahead and row again with one arm. Okay. Dumb. Yeah, 3 count. Alright, so we're gonna need a bench for this, which is fun, I guess. Man, hope y'all are having a good day. Anyone have any plans for the weekend? You're like, Joe, it's Tuesday. Hey, you can start to dream now, okay? You don't have to wait. There's no rule that says no plans till Friday, you know? You could still have something to look forward to, right? I'm thinking about finally paying my taxes. We moved internationally from Japan. We've had various cash flow challenges as a family. So that's an area of risk in our life that we haven't been able to burn down yet. But I'm becoming hopeful that I can actually get that knocked out. I'd like to land the job off first, so we'll see. I have a plan. See if the plan finds me. Alright, so we're going to do a row supported on here. Because it's single arm, do we want to go for... No, we're still going to stick on 30s. I want to focus on form today. We're going to really burn this sucker out, I guess. So we put a knee on the benchy thing. You can't really see this well. Hang out down here. Give you the ground perspective. Whew. Thanks for hanging out on my grandma's screened-in porch in Chicago. It's been a crazy journey of life. We've moved 15 times in the last 3 years with 4 kids. And we're rocking in-laws right now, which is cool. Alright, neutral, dip, 2, 3, now, dip, up, 2, dip, dip, 4, dip, 5, dip, X, dip, 7, damn, dip, 8, and slide to the left, crisscross, everybody clap their hands. Man, if I just had to make one legendary dance track that gets played at weddings forever to be rich, that's the game right there. You know, like, shout out to Gangnam Style. Killing the game. Alright. Yeah, pick it up. Start neutral. Dip. Up. Get that squeeze at the top. Slow on the return. Dip. Slow on the return. Dip. Slow on the return. Dip. But thanks for taking the conversation in such an interesting direction. It's been unexpected. I'm like, oh shoot, I gotta think about that. What do I believe? 5, 6, 7, and 8. We have another set. Why? Write this down for a minute. Alright, so we have 30s, 8 reps, X, 1, 3 count. This is also 3 count. Alright, one more. Tired. My kids are gonna wake up soon. I gotta go be a dad. What are you writing, friend? Alright, the funny thing is that atheists have no problem with the Big Bang having no origin as cause. And sorry, I'll get you the summary just now. Keep up the good work. Thanks, Nemo. Yeah, I mean, there's such a wide range of perspectives. And like, you could watch theological debates all day, and I think at some point for me, this is a for me thing. For some people, this issue is like the reason people come to faith or not. For other people, it's the reason they fall out of faith. For some people, you have, what did you write? You have kids? I got 4 kids, yo. Yeah, I got 8-year-old, 6-year-old, 4-year-old, 1-year-old. It's a nice spread. You know, and then for other people, like, does understanding the Big Bang and creation, does it change anything in their reality, in their day? Like, for some, this is the biggest question. And for others, I'm like, it's mystery, and that's fine. I didn't go back there and create it. I just know I'm here, so I got to figure out here. But again, from a theological perspective, a lot of people hinge on
needing to get it right, which is complex. So I like to create space for discussion, because how much do we know? Whether it's from this book that some folks claim to be complete truth literally, other truth figuratively, other a mix of historical narrative and story. What's science say? Where do they converge? Where are they dissonant? Where are there gaps? Can anyone go back to the beginning and know? Like all these things, right? That I'm stalling theology. But yeah, I have a master's in global leadership from a theological seminary, so I've dug into this stuff a decent amount. And for me, I look at it as like for me, it's a tier 2 theological issue. Like, are you going to get saved or not based on whether or not you get creation figured out correctly? No, not in my opinion. Again, this is speaking purely from the lens of Christianity. But for some, finding, I'll quote it, truth in that space is an unlock in their journey, and then for others, it's a huge hindrance. I like the messy mystery of it. Yeah, that's in the category of I'll ask him when I get there. All right, let's go. Dip. 1, 2, 3. Dip. 2, 3. Dip. 3, 2. Dip. 4. Dip. 5. Dip. Exit. Dip. I was glancing and you wrote LMFAO, but I definitely thought you wrote Lucifer, and I was like, wait, no, now we're talking about the devil spewing lies in these spaces? And I was like, no, this is going too deep, man. I think you wrote LMFAO, right? Yeah. At a glance, they look similar. All right. The devil's in laughter. No, I'm just kidding. All right. It's me being pedantic. All right, let's dip. Pull tight. We're healing our back so we can run long distance safely. So I could throw my kids in the pool this summer if we can afford pool passes. Otherwise, we have a hose. Like, I still believe God's very active in my life. I believe prayer works most of the time when God wants to listen to it. That's a whole other conversation. Whew. Yeah, there's only so much we can understand with our 3-pound brain. That's crazy. I don't know why, but just realizing like everything we think and experience is like locked into 3 pounds worth of brain. Which, you know, I learned in Jerry Maguire that the human head weighs 8 pounds. So, it's not much brain thinking up there. Alright. So we did 2 sets of that. How are we tracking on kids wake up? Good, 6:40. Alright, so we have dumbbell strict press. This sucks as well. Did that with 40s and struggled, so we're going to do this with 30s. So in a strict press, this is a little bit vulnerable from a back, spine. Imagine that. So what we're going to do is stand pretty tall, tuck our tailbone in, brace our core. We want everything braced, core and back kind of like taut, because if we don't, this lift can put our back and our posture in kind of a vulnerable crush position. So you can think about like a press, you would normally go out, right? With this, we're going to bring the elbows in like there's a box we're trapped in, and we're going to try to drive it straight up. And when you get towards this region, if you start to do that with your back, it's not well supported, so you want to keep everything locked like a rocket and drive it. And you'll run into either a strength or a mobility block. You just got to work it to get better. So we're going to do 30. Whew. And this will be plenty tough. Right, and I picked it up and I was like, are we doing 20s? Alright, strict press. So, kind of settle on my feet, settle on my hips, tuck in my tailbone, core taut like I'm going to punch. Breathe a couple times. Curl it up to the shoulders. Keep it tight. And rest. 2, 3. Rest. 2, 3. Keep every time taut. Rest. Rest. You'll see my elbows will start to flare as I get fatigued. That's okay. 5, 6. Ooh. That's tough, man. Oh, well, thanks for hanging out, friends. It keeps the workout going. It's tough out there. Luckily, we have good conversations with Nemo and D and other folks that have popped in. I gotta delete this whole section. Alright. So we're rewriting this. So Nemo, what do you believe if you're still hanging out? What are your thoughts and perspectives? Thank you for testing mine publicly. There we got 30s, 6 reps, 1 set, 2 count. And I'll give myself a nice meh on the form. Definitely not impressive, but not dangerous. It's kind of like, I noticed I started flaring out. Like as I went up these elbows, I couldn't keep them taut. It's just because I don't have as much strength back there as I want. Roll around a little bit. Today's definitely a crunchy day. I just feel, Alright. We got a big day today. Next to-do list is insane. I have to be here. What time is it? Can I procrastinate anymore? 45. Crap! Get it done. Be an adult. Take care of your body. So you can take care of everyone else. You know, Goggins out there talking about who's going to carry the boats and the logs. I had to carry all these kids around the world. Alright, here we go. We have these weights. Lift it up. Find our form. Tuck the core. Curl it up. Keep it tight. Get into lockout so hard. It's been nice having some us time, friends. Hanging out, working out, answering questions. Keeps it good. Alright, what do we got in here before we do our floor W's? Oh my gosh, D's still here. Yes, sir. What's up, Scotty Tahati? I don't know what a Scotty is. So weird having a conversation with a person on the other side of a screen. You don't do this very often, Nemo? Now, kids, this is the coveted car insurance is pulling out of my account today pose. Notice the slow motion of the arms to really hone in, getting that bill paid. Yeah, this is a good one for the kids. Personally, I follow Jesus, so I'm a Christian. I believe that he was an actual person, but was also God, and that there's a lot of factual evidence that says he did exist, you know? No! I don't do this often. Well, I'm glad you're hanging out, friend. Yeah, I've been doing this for 5 years. I started live streaming in COVID. Nice to meet a fellow Christian. we're good people most of the time. Except when we're not. All right, we got floor W's. You're like, what do you mean? I'm just saying, folks in the church are sometimes more messed up than folks outside of it. I always try to focus on inner work. Let's try 8s. This is our last little exercise. Yeah, the factual evidence historically is interesting. Alright. So, we're going to do something terrible. I haven't done this in a while. So, actually, I don't even remember how I'm supposed to do it. I think we're supposed to floor W, so I think we lift and pull like a W. Yeah, but man, being a Christian makes you realize how much you fall short. Exactly. It gives you the standard, and you're like, crap. Oh, I gotta get better. And then that goes into the whole sanctification, Holy Spirit work stuff. It's cool. Alright. It's the ones that don't know they need the work. That's where things get dangerous. Alright, so let me see if 8s is too much, but we're going to try to lift this up and then pull it back. So it's kind of like a little moving W, and it'll load on the back of your shoulder. But nice to meet you, Nemo. I do these lives periodically. The algorithm may or may not bring us together, which is cool. I also have a community called the Big Brain Club, where it's easier for me to keep track of people, do DMs, and provide value to them in their journey. There's a link in the description to that as well, if it's a fit. And I help folks build the life they desire, living where they want, living what they do, being paid well for it. So that's kind of my wrap. Let's get it. And up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. Ah! We did it, though. That's awesome. That was so terrible. I should just stay here like this and stop talking, and everyone will just think they came up on some kind of like gym bro that died. I'm not a gym bro. Alright. Finding the confidence to do it. Yeah, I have some problems with church, but I do feel like I want to be part of a community. Of course. Oh, don't die, bro. I'm going to do my best. No, community is huge. I think the advent of the internet has had really interesting implications on the church, because people can find information from other circles, whereas like a lot of times a community will become wrapped around a subset of theology that is off the mark in some regard. That's why there used to be like, and there still is, like a lot of hostility between different Protestant groups. The Catholic Church both have different challenges in their theology and application thereof. And theology is just like the interpretation of the scripture and its application to our life. Like, we have different what I call extra biblical traditions, where we as a denomination, or we as a small church, small C church, like, read the word this way and it makes us hate gay people. Like, that's a thing that happens that I don't agree with. LGBTQ is like a whole nother conversation on where the church is at in that, and I'll be cautious in those spaces initially. So that's a lot of areas where I see the church having to like correct one another. It becomes really complex the more left or right leaning you get within the church, and it shouldn't be political, but like politics and theology shake hands at times. That's also really bad. But also, like, not having an opinion on what's going on in the world as a Christian is also bad. Like, there's all these layers where where the bride is broken from a theological perspective. All right, let's get one more. Whew. That's my soapbox for the day. 1, 2, 3, But I think Jesus is beautiful. I think the gospel is beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. It's fun. And hard. Alright. I think. Yeah, we have a bonus thing we could do that we're not going to do. Because motivation has died. It's 6:52. I have time to do it. I don't want to. Are you pro LGBTQ? Pro LGBTQ. Interesting. Wait. 1 second. I need to clean up my mat. We'll tuck in a little mini LGBTQ question or commentary as I like pick up chairs and crap. But before I start even with it, like the notion, I'm definitely not interested. So the idea of being pro or anti, I think, is the first like issue of having it be like a for or against kind of statement. Who's your favorite rapper? Ooh, that's a much easier question. Is that a harder question than being pro LGBTQ or not? Now I'm like, do I answer the first one, the deep cut on faith and sexuality, or do I think about like who drops the best verse? Oh, those candy rappers. Is it King Von? Who the heck is King Von? Joaquin? I'm joking. No, I'm joking. You're fine. Oh, you're joking about definitely not being. Favorite. Now I'm stuck on rapper. Like I don't want to say Eminem. I think Lil Wayne. No, it's got to be Justin Timberlake and all the SNL stuff. I think that's the best verse right there. Just so many bangers. I've not heard of Vaughn, bro. I'm busy. I'm a busy guy. I got 4 kids. All right, so LGBTQ. Let me roll up this mat while I talk, looking away from you. I will first say that it's incredibly complex, and when churches do things, I'm going to use strong language of wrong, which y'all can judge me about. But like, some churches will be anti and condemn the entire bracket of LGBT, like just kill all of it. Binary sex only, man and a woman only. That's what the word says. It's damnation. Like they will go to that threshold and that's the experience. Other churches will be 110% all inclusive of every single acronym and every single schism of sexuality, which I do think betrays certain intent of the scriptures as well. And I think that nuance, there isn't room within most contemporary churched environments to be inclusive of people navigating the acronyms and what they're experiencing and what their truth is in this moment, for them to feel inclusive. Like I had a really close couple, Chris and Ryan. They were a gay couple. They had 5 beautiful children, all through adoption. We were really close friends. Chris grew up in the church as a conservative Christian, and he knows all the worship songs. He knows all the scriptures. He's not necessarily in the church anymore because of the experience he had when he came out as gay to his family and then got married and then had kids. But like for his children, who he views as like a blank slate, he told me, he's like, I would love to be able to take them to church, but what church would let 2 gay men walk in with their 5 kids and have those kids feel normal and loved and accepted and give them proximity to Christ the way that I had before I came out? Like, he recognizes that the environment is immediately challenged by the reality of 2 men walking side by side with children into the sanctuary. And I think that's the area that probably grieves Christ the most, speaking from a Christian context, is that that's not the intent of his love, right? So that's the area where, from like a theological perspective, we bucket everything's pro LGBTQ, pride, full inclusion, or full repelling. And then when you have the nuance of Chris and Ryan trying to raise their children and give them an opportunity to have proximity to Christ and to God and what they had, they recognized that there's not a climate where they could do that for their children easily. It would have to be, as they get older, dropping them off at the door and picking them up. Or you get into weird divisions of theology that they might not even agree with. So that complexity, I think, is what grieves Christ. Similar to like when the church condoned racism, right? Like it condoned slavery, or like supported slavery. So I used the wrong language there. And I think there had to be a repentance and a shift in the church to acknowledge that Sundays are one of the most segregated days, right? I think it's similar with LGBTQ, and Christians fail to understand the nuance of each of those letters, what it means for that individual, and to test and challenge the scriptures on each of those letters, and to ask, could this individual still have proximity to a community of Christians as they navigate their life without feeling a judgment and then being kicked out? Why do we hyper elevate what we perceive to be sins in those spaces based on our interpretation of the word, when we still have pastors addicted to pornography and they can still lead, but my gay friend can't lead worship, which happened to me in high school as well. So that's my deep cut on Christianity and LGBTQI. It's complex. With that, I'm going to kill this so I can clean up quickly. But Nemo, it has been such a joy crossing paths with you, and don't got nothing against gays. That's awesome, Sean. Kicking somebody like that out, I just don't agree with. Well, and there's plenty of scriptures that people can hold on to excommunicate people from leadership that then identify as gay. Even if they identify as gay, like having same-sex attraction, and they're not even practicing on it, they can be kicked out of leadership. Which, from some theological understanding, like that would be like the close case, like not sin, but you still kick them out because they're gay leaning. Like all of that I've seen in the church. And I'm curious, as I'm a Christian, like where God will lead me in those spaces, from writing and active inclusion and meeting in the mess of that and having space for that, because I think the church has done so much harm to that community. Like if you look at the percentage, I forgot the exact numbers, the percentage of like youth suicide within the LGBTQ community is incredibly high. I believe that a large percentage of that, like that blood, is on the hands of Christians that have weaponized scripture and created a space where these children can't have candid conversations with their parents and members of their community and find a path, because they become over constrained in a Christian framework that people believe to be true, and then they kill themselves because they don't feel like they belong. And like I think that is on the church in many ways. And the majority of like coming out stories you watch are like people growing up in ultra conservative Christian families and trying to discover who they are amidst that, and then they get excommunicated from the community, they get kicked out, they get yelled out, like, and we're doing this to our children, and I just don't see Christ in that. Like that's sin, in my opinion. But anyway, friends who aren't Christian or the latter, thanks for hanging out. Sometimes we go into faith topics, and I'm just kind of taking this one live based on the dialogue with Nemo. But yeah, appreciate y'all. I'm going to drop off because I have to go be a dad. Keep changing the world, keep loving folks, and I'll see you on the next one.